Sword fights on the heights. It's a staple in the old ROBLOX genre, and even though the original game is dead, there are still so many other games that either use the heights or the SFOTH swords and interpret them in their own ways. And with Demo 5 and BlockTales having the heights as one of their main parts of the demo, I feel like it's only right to talk about it and the many other games that use the SFOTH swords. We can't start this video without mentioning our oh so dear BlockTales. I'm pretty sure everybody knows what BlockTales is, but if you don't, here's an explanation. BlockTales is an RPG inspired by Earthbound, set in 2010, where you, the player, have been sent back to by a mysterious figure who kidnaps Builderman. Now you have to get the 7 SFOTH swords and save Builderman to then get back to the present time. As you can see, the whole plot revolves around the SFOTH swords and how we need them to save Builderman. And although not all of the 7 SFOTH swords were released yet, 5 of them have, and that's good enough for me. But I will make a video once all of the 7 demos will be released. Now the swords themselves act like ancient artifacts in the story, being wielded by important people like queens and mayors, because the swords themselves hold immense power that can corrupt and change anyone who is not worthy enough of the blade. In my personal opinion, it's kind of a shame that the swords in here are just simple artifacts and nothing more. But, oh well. I like the game and the story, my personal favorite being Demo 3 and Demo 5. Also, can I ask, but why does every interpretation of the SFOTH swords always have the Illumina as the strongest one? Sure, you can fly around if you have 2 of them, and it is Shedletsky's favorite sword, but it's not the best damage-wise. That title should go to either Ghostwalker or Windforce, because what the hell are you gonna do if you only have the linked sword and your enemy pulls up with a larger sword that sends you flying the nanosecond you touch it? Nothing! Fighting is, well, a fighting game. What a shocker. 5 with classic ROBLOX items which were personified into characters that serve the purpose of being an individual class. The 7 SFOTH swords are also personified and appear only in special events. I was never in the fighting community, nor did I ever play fighting much, only participating in a few rounds to check the game out, so I don't have footage of the SFOTH swords, nor can I tell you what I think about them. But I can tell something about their design, which I think is really cool except for the fact that the Illumina is purple, when nowhere in SFOTH is the Illumina shown being purple. The Illumina is a reflective sword, so it will reflect whatever the color the skybox is, and because the skybox is yellow, the Illumina is also yellow. The closest thing we have to Illumina being purple is the fact that the icon is pink and it produces pink sparkles. But those are pink, not purple. But honestly, I'm cherry picking. I like the design for most of them. Dumb Boss Fights is a round-based game where you choose which boss to fight, which can range from Shedletsky to Doombringer to 1X. This game is personally my least favorite, mainly because of how tedious and long the boss fights take and how repetitive it gets. And that's coming from a person who plays Forsaken. The game uses the SFOTH swords as weapons alongside other classic items, with each sword having unique abilities, like how Darkheart steals health from the boss on the 3rd swing, and Firebrand applies burning to enemies on the 3rd hit. It doesn't get many players, but I would personally say that this game is not that good. Of course, you can go check it out for yourself, but I would personally not recommend it. This one is my personal favorite. Combat Classic is a fighting game where you choose different classes and fight other people using classic Roblox items like the Shadow Bloxer and of course the SFOTH swords. It's such an underrated game which barely gets any players every day and has less than 1 million visits. So if you have the time, then please check the game out. The game itself has a lot of the SFOTH swords, and granted, the models are not exactly the same as the ones in Sword Fights on the Heights, but it is still very fun. My personal favorite here being the Dark Heart, since it's super overpowered and is super fun with a new ability that gives you more damage but less health. And honestly, if the game got at least some players, then I would definitely play the game from time to time. Something Evil Will Happen is a modern take on natural disaster survival with plenty of horrible fates, lots of gears, emotes, and also special rounds. One of those being the Heights. Pick up swords around the map and fight each other until only one remains. Of course, each sword has their unique ability, like how Firebrand burns people but only on the third swing. Also, real talk, but why do all of the modern games make it so that the SFOTH swords do their special effects after the third swing? It's ridiculous how many times I saw that, but that's besides the point. Fight other people to the death and be the only one remaining, but be quick since there's a kill zone rapidly approaching your location. If you manage to win the round, then you get a special little SFOTH banner that I personally wear. And if you lose, then wow, you suck. Regretavator is a unique game inspired by games like the normal elevator, where you go through different floors and meet different characters. One of the floors is the Heights. Interestingly, you don't actually fight anyone there and instead have to get to a safe spot with a limited amount of time. It honestly feels like the Heights was just put in there as a reference for any of the Forsaken gubbies, since you could just replace the map for anything else and it wouldn't affect the floor or the gameplay. But, oh well. There's a lot more games that use this SFOTH map as either a little reference or as a part of their game, but if I mentioned all of them, then the video would be a bit too long. And it's honestly amazing seeing how many references there are to SFOTH and the Heights, even if most of the players don't care enough to play the original game itself. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next Saturday. Bye bye.